What is going on, guys? My name is Halvy, and today I'm bringing you a video about the solar eclipse event that took place back in August. So I took a trip with several really awesome individuals to Madras, Oregon. So Madras, Oregon was a great area to go to because from that place you were going to have the perfect view of the solar eclipse as it took place in the complete totality. There was a thin strip basically that went across America, and Madras, Oregon was one of the places, one of the cities that was dead in the center of the area where the shadow would cast across the earth from the eclipse. It was an amazing experience all around, but the really cool thing was having an astrophysicist who's this brilliant guy, and he was able to explain to us a lot of what was going on scientifically, and he had some of his own theories and experiments that he was trying to run as well. Now, some of his theories and experiments specifically related to the phenomenon called the shadow bands or shadow snakes. This is a rare event that takes place where you look down at the ground and it looks like there's these wiggly bands of shadows irradiating out from you, and until this point no one's really understood exactly what causes those. So Dr. Scott had some ideas and some theories of his own, and so on this trip he wanted to test those out. And all of this you'll be able to learn a lot more about at the end of this video, because I got some great footage with Dr. Scott actually describing his whole scientific process and some of his experimentation and whatnot much better than I could, so be sure to stay tuned for that. With that out of the way, this is my solar eclipse experience. I hope you enjoy the video. Here in Madras, Oregon, at a very open, big, wide field, and which is crazy considering that just literally a mile and a half down the road is called Solar City, and it is packed. I mean, you can't even stand up with how packed it is, and yet we're sitting here on, you know, just tons of acreage. But anyways, we're here to see, of course, the solar eclipse event of 2017, and we'll be keeping you updated throughout the way as the process goes, and get some commentary from the astrophysicist as well. Let's take a look at these super cool sunglasses. I can't see actually anything other than the sun through these, but we got these in California because they were all sold out in Oregon State.
Can I see out of these glasses?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. It's a good bite taken out of it right now. A really good bite. Yeah, we've lost about...
I haven't tried this one yet.
Lost about 15%.
15%? On the way. It's
maybe
about
12.
to get weird.
Maybe 12.
12%. It's a great exact number. This is Robert Kurtz, the guy who's going to be doing a lot of the filming for a lot of the stuff in this video. Cool. We got the 5 here.
Got the GoPro 5. We're getting crowd shots. We're going to get the snakes, hopefully, on our white sheet. And we're going to get a little bit of the, hopefully, the landscape.
Yes.
And some of the strange horizon effects.
Try to get the whole experience of what happens as an eclipse takes place.
Absolutely.
And he looks really cool with his quad glasses there too, so it's great.
All right, here's the crew. Checking it out. We're about 28 minutes from totality. We've got ourselves set up with a couple different arrangements here.
Take a picture of the stupid cloud cover.
Yeah.
Why is it so unbelievable?
We came here because it's the least cloudy place in the nation.
Oh yeah.
And the forecast said perfectly clear.
But it is not.
And it's been less than perfect.
All right, tell us what's going on.
Well, the moon's about halfway covered the sun, and we can feel that it's a lot cooler now. Unfortunately, we also have stupid cloud cover.
Yes.
Everything said it was going to be perfectly clear. However, we're still getting lots of pictures and enjoying each other's company.
Probably about 2 minutes out.
Yeah, oh God, we missed the appearance of the fringes, damn it.
We got one other opportunity for that, right?
Look at these fringes, man.
Look at that. That's the experiment.
It's fucking working.
It's working.
All right.
It's working. Tell me that reference.
It's working! It's working!
Can't tell too much, but it's definitely darker than it was before. Must be really cool for that plane up there.
Yeah, it's really starting to get dark now.
What are your thoughts, man?
Wow.
Wow. This is some crazy stuff. It's about to get weird.
How do you know they're
This is really odd.
Look at this. Look at this. Look at this.
This is really odd.
Look.
It looks like it's a rapid sunset here.
Oh man! Here it is.
Woo! Yeah, baby.
Yes.
All right.
Oh, dang! Look!
You can see this here.
Snap!
Look at what's going on here. Wow.
And it's coming back to daylight. And we got some bomb pictures. Did you get some good stuff, Scott?
Oh yeah.
All right. Didn't see no snakes though.
Nope.
Well, next time.
You can see, interestingly, how crisp my shadow is right now. Very, very crisp shadows. Looks unreal, like stage lighting.
You can see with the fringe clarity going away. You see it going away?
Yeah.
Oh wow, that is a great video of it going away.
All right.
There are people leaving already. There's actually people leaving. I saw none. That's awesome.
And they disappeared as they got wider. It was fantastic as far as my double slit experiment is concerned.
Outstanding.
So even though the snakes didn't appear, which is probably because the atmosphere turbulence wasn't right, we saw the interference fringes, very, very distinct, come in and go out according to how wide the slit of the sun was.
Did you get some
That
good footage?
Perfectly, yeah, I filmed it, so
Outstanding.
we'll be able to show it.
Outstanding.
It worked perfectly.
Awesome.
So no doubt there, spatial coherence of white light source is proven.
Outstanding.
It's time.
So we're leaving the little ranch grounds and there's a lot of traffic. We've hit a little bit of traffic leaving the area. We have gone about 100 miles in 7 hours, and this is what the gas stations look like. All around. It's ridiculous. So that was the short little video that we were able to put together about our solar eclipse experience in Madras, Oregon. As you could tell at the end there was just an absurd amount of traffic. I'm not kidding you, from what you saw in that last clip there, it was literally about 120 miles driven in about 7 hours. It was insane. Basically the entire state of Oregon was just non-stop traffic. It was absolutely ridiculous. Now I would love to transition to introducing you guys to Dr. Scott Campbell, who you saw in the video, who has some very interesting things to discuss with you guys in regards to the experiments and the theories that he had going on throughout this whole experience. Dr. Scott is a physicist and engineer who is currently living in Silicon Valley, California. His educational background is in astrophysics, electronics, laser technology, electrical and computer engineering, as well as applied mathematics. So Dr. Scott created a research paper, and he's here to tell you guys a little bit more about that. And I would highly recommend you guys take a look at that if you're interested in learning more about the solar eclipse event and the science behind it all, and why everything does what it does.
Hi, I'm Dr. Scott Campbell. I do a lot of different things with my time, but primarily my work these days focuses on optics camera systems, and four-dimensional media. For many years, I was the chief camera architect and vice president fellow of R&D at GoPro, where I architected and designed the imaging systems for all of GoPro's cameras since the Hero 2. Currently, I am Chief Technical Officer at Area 4 Professional, where we are developing the next generation of spherical and volumetric cameras. The paper we're presenting herein covers theoretical and experimental studies into the causes of solar eclipse shadow bands. These are the wiggly snake-like optical patterns that appear on Earth moments before and moments after totality in a solar eclipse. In this paper, we perform 2 core experiments with the Sun during the eclipse, and then repeat these experiments under laboratory conditions afterwards. In the first experiment, we calculate and measure the spatial coherence length in near totality sunlight using a Young's double-slit apparatus. In the second experiment, we calculate and measure very low numerical aperture-based Schlieren imaging with near totality sunlight. We also characterize the atmospheric turbulence and explore its role in the creation of shadow bands. We then combine these phenomena, showing how both spatial coherence in sunlight and Schlieren imaging with sunlight work with atmospheric turbulence to create the solar eclipse shadow bands observed on Earth. I'm doing these experiments because back in June of 2017, my brother-in-law, Robert Kurtz, talked with me about these solar eclipse shadow bands and the fact that no one had a definitive explanation for what causes them. Being an optics geek, I immediately suspected spatial coherence and/or very low numerical aperture imaging. So, I set to work out the theories and design the experiments to investigate the phenomenon. The paper that ensues then describes and discusses the results of this endeavor. To recap on the findings, spatial coherence length in sunlight within about half a minute of totality, projected through the atmospheric turbulence and then allowed to interfere on the ground, is a potential cause of the solar eclipse shadow bands. As well, very low numerical aperture Schlieren imaging of the atmosphere with sunlight within about half a minute of totality is also a potential cause of the solar eclipse shadow bands. The observation of solar eclipse shadow bands is rare. This is because to observe solar eclipse shadow bands, 3 conditions must be met. First, there must be strong atmospheric turbulence between you and the Sun. Second, the atmospheric turbulence must be at altitudes of a few hundred meters for small shadow bands, but can extend up to tens of kilometers for very large shadow bands. Also, to observe the shadow bands, the observable sliver of sunlight must be approximately 10,000 kilometers wide or less. Finally, we also found that the spatial coherence length and the numerical aperture of the sunlight during the observation of solar eclipse shadow bands are inexorably linked to one another through the wavelength of light, strangely resembling an uncertainty relationship. Now you can definitely learn a whole lot more about solar eclipse shadow bands, spatial coherence length, and numerical aperture by going to this link here where the paper is shown. Now, even though nature has tightly linked spatial coherence length and low numerical aperture during solar eclipse shadow bands, we believe there are ways to separate the spatial coherence length effects from the low numerical aperture effects. And as such, we look forward to a bunch more geeks joining us in 2024 to study this phenomenon further. Thank you.
I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and once again, please be sure to check that link down in the description below to take a look at the published article that Dr. Scott Campbell and Robert Walden Kurtz created on the rare phenomenon of the shadow bands. As always, please be sure to leave a like and comment down below to show your appreciation and just interact with me, which I always love too. And with all of that said, stay beautiful, have a fantastic freaking day, and we'll see you later.